Well, welcome to 20 days of prayer and fasting as we gather together as a church to invite God into our situations, into our circumstances, to invite Him to come and make a difference into our personal lives, but also into the corporate life of church. I trust it for all of us as we engage in this devotional journey, that each one of us will be moved and changed and become closer to God. He's inviting us in 2025 to come to Him if we're weary and heavy laden, that He might give you and I rest, that we might take up His yoke, that we might become who He wants us and needs us to be in this season of life. So today we want to start by taking a moment just to stop and to reflect. Our reading today is from the older part of the Bible. It was written by the prophet Jeremiah. And Jeremiah is known for so many hopes and dreams and aspirations that he had not actually becoming reality. And there's a small book called Lamentations, which actually is what it says on the outside. It's a book full of laments. But in the midst of all the lament that he writes, there is that rainbow of hope. There is that sunshine moment of hope. And if we perhaps read it together, it's from Lamentations chapter 3 and verses 19 through to 21 or so. He says, I remember my affliction and my bitterness. I remember the wormwood and the gall. And my soul continually thinks of it and is bowed down within me. But this, he says, I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercy never comes to an end. They are new every morning. Great is His faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore, I will hope in Him. As we start this year together, it's important for us to have a moment of recollection, to go back and think of what has happened in the year before. I know many of us will have moments and experiences that we can actually say yes, as Jeremiah described his story, it describes ours, where our emotions, if we recollect, will bring us to a place of sadness and disappointment. But we can't stop at the place of recollection, because we need to, in 2025, step into the place of revelation, because it's from revelation that you and I get conviction. And he describes the revelation. He says, here's the revelation. He said, the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies are new every morning. Great is His faithfulness. What's he saying there? He's saying, as he had a revelation that God's affection is towards us, it is steadfast and never changes. That the outworking of His affection towards us is in His compassion and His mercy towards us. And that is brand new every morning. And there's a reality that for each of us, the truth that His dedication to us, His faithfulness to us, is present every day. You see, if we live in the place just called recollection, then our emotions can take us in all different places. But when we step into revelation in 2025, then our conviction rises as we understand who God is and who He is to you and to me. And of course, for Jeremiah and for us, both the recollection, putting to the side, and the revelation brings them to a place of recognition and making a decision and saying, you know what, I have hope, because this is what I'm going to call to mind. I'm going to call to mind who I know God is and what I understand God has done. And therefore, he says, I have hope. The Lord is my portion, he says. Therefore, I will put my hope in Him. As we step into 2025, I trust it for all of us. Yes, we take moments of recollection, but we do that in the perspective and the frame of understanding who God is. A God who's for us, a God who loves us, a God who's steadfast towards us, a God who's faithful in everything towards us. And so in that, as we step into 2025, you and I can be women and men of hope, who put our hope in a God who never changes. We trust as you go through these 20 days and 25 that we just have a great journey together, and we do find that place of rest in God for the year ahead. The Lord bless you today.